welcome everyone back from our various in-world adventures, which are having their lingering impact on the individuals now, and look forward to seeing the rippling impact on the community over the long term of having some real-world FaceTime with some of our key stakeholders, which is really I'm glad you guys got get together in person at ETH Denver, and hopefully we can make a routine of this of more real world meetups and less in world viruses. But thanks all for joining us today. We're going to go through our regularly scheduled program. Beginning with our DAO committee, then having an operations update from the facilitation squad, and checking in with our DApps team, and ending with our grantees in an open forum. So please, throughout, feel free to type questions into the chat. And when we get to the open forum, please, feel free to bring up any items of significance or discussion. And look forward to hearing all the updates from the different operators and units of the DAO. So with that, I'll pass it off to Yamel or HP for some DAO committee updates.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Yamel here. So short updates. DAO operations are running smoothly. We're pretty much up to date. The grants program is version 2 is up and running. Looking forward to start creating vesting contracts next week when the proposal passes. Also, the governance proposal for adding Tobic as a DAO committee member is sending soon. It has a lot of votes. So a lot of confidence that we'll be onboarding Tobic next week to the DAO committee. Yeah, that's from the DAO committee side. Also, I have an announcement. The Decentraland Foundation has been hosting these technical AMAs and rotating the topics, like the Catalyst, Dapps, Explorer. That's every Wednesday. And they want to host a special AMA, a special technical AMA next Wednesday regarding worlds. The world's feature. It will be like an open space. It will be a presentation from Foundation regarding worlds and how it works. It will be an open space for questions, and also, an opportunity to open the conversation of what worlds can be. Start that conversation with the community. So looking forward to see you all there. If you are interested in worlds and how you can shape the future of Decentraland. Yeah, that's me. HP, do you want to add something else?
We also did the payment to Curator. On this month, we paid 18,000 mana to all curators for the month of February.
That's correct. And I think we're done, Matt.
Perfect. Thanks for those updates. From the facilitation team and other operations of the DAO, we are working with the DApps team on some final wireframes for the workflow process of the working groups. And we'll be submitting that proposal at the end of this week. We are, responding to some feedback from the draft proposal phase of the potential to also incorporate a space for expert non-community members to participate in working groups and be polled by the community, so we can get some external opinions on issues. So we're working on that, and FedDay is finalizing that proposal now. Our community pulse highlighting conversations in the community and deep dives will be coming out next week from the previous month's ongoings in the DAO. And this will be largely focusing on a creator spotlight like we normally do, as well as on the issue of committee elections in general. We've had a series of interesting discussions and processes ongoing surrounding the DAO committee, the revocations committee. And as we move towards the other end of these first rounds of sort of pivotal elections to these positions, we'll have an opportunity to look back on the process and establish a formal process that can be applicable for all committees moving forward. Whether it's the DAO committee, the revocations, the wearable committee. So that the community post will be looking towards that as an outcome and sharing information and resources with the community. We also just put out a proposal, pre-proposal poll on establishing a formal pathway for the DAO to request information from the foundation. Feel free to provide comments and feedback on that. This has been an issue of a topic of discussion for some time in the DAO, and this is just meant to be a way for us to make informal requests for information on specific topics and issue from the foundation, and create a pathway that we can have a structured institutional discussion between the two entities. I'm going to pass it off to Fede, if you want to talk about some of the discussions that have been happening in the discussion channels in the DAO and working groups or informal working groups that are ongoing, and then we'll pass it off to Fractillion for a strategic comms update.
Sure. Hi everyone. So main things that have been that happened last week on the PP distribution and Whales Boats channels. It's that we have some progress discussing the different approaches that were posted on the last meeting, that the synchronous meeting that we held a couple of weeks ago. So Gino is, can we mute? Okay, thanks. So Gino is still working on his project and proposal for the quadratic delegation, and Niall has ended a new round of the PP delegation of his pilot test in a successful way. So we're still struggling with, but he's still struggling with some issues regarding the bots that are voting in the DAO, but the community is helping with that. So also, two proposals have been submitted to limit the VP, to limit votes to percentages of the threshold. One by HP, and the other one was submitted by YML. So I think these two were approaches that, or maybe this is one approach, but this approach was tackled like 1 or 2 months ago, but I think now the community is the discussions that took place in the community are more intended to go and to support this way to limit the voting power to address the whales issue. So right now the votings are open. So I invite you all to read the proposals and to vote. Another thing that's going on in the BP distribution working group, and this is the last thing that I'm going to mention, is that we are also exploring different mechanisms to avoid civil attacks and the bots issue, such as some proof of humanity mechanisms, as Gitcoin Passport and Bright ID. So I think that's there's not much else to say about that two channels that are, and that discussions that are going on right now.
Thanks, Fede. Appreciate the update there. And hopefully we'll have a chance to talk in the open forum some more about the VP distribution proposals that have been submitted, and if there's any question for them. And Fractillion, do you want to give a brief update before we pass it on?
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me?
Lightly.
Lightly, okay. How about now? I don't know what's going on with my mic.
Yep, you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I have a couple updates for you guys. Been working on my portion of the creator series for the monthly post, like Matsumiya said, which will be launching next week. Also been busy, like always, working on comms, including creating the content for YouTube or Twitter, our newsletter. Also working on creating a new strategic plan to help grow our engagement and followers among all our socials. And like he mentioned last week, had a blast doing some our in real life meetups at ETH Denver with Gia, Gino, CK Bubbles, and I'm also really hoping that we'll be seeing more of these RL meetups in the future, but with no COVID after parties, hopefully, like we're doing. But yeah, this week, since I am under the weather, I won't be doing an in-world meetup after town hall. So just want to rest up. I've been sleeping a lot, but I will have it for next week. Not next week, the next town hall for sure. So keep a lookout for that. And yeah, that's all for me. I'll pass it on.
Great, thank you. Is there someone from I don't know if I see Gino here today. Is there someone from the DApps team for an update or? For the DApps team, I know they have just finished implementing the new grants flow, and they now have a number of proposals. You can see Yamel just posted some as well. The new bidding and tendering program has been passed, so they'll be moving on to that. And they've also been contributing to the working group proposals there. So they post regular updates in their channel, so please feel free to check that out later this week. I can pass this on now to Zeno from your squad, or Pablo.
Yes, here's Zeno from the Grasshopper squad. I think that Pablo, you here?
Hello.
Our host.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm gonna share some slides today. Can you see the screen? Is it okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, today we are sharing some exciting announcements regarding our squad, and then we have 3 grantees as our guests to share their progress as always. On our side, we are working to onboard the new grantees, the decentralized grantees in this new chapter of the grants program. So we are setting up our tools and methodologies to receive these grantees with everything they need to know for starting their journey. Also working on the Testing Tuesday initiative and the revocations committee. But before jumping in those topics, I'm honored to present our new member of the Grant Support Squad, Fifi. I think you're here. I'd love to open the mic here to her so she can introduce herself. Fifi.
Thank you. Hey there. Hi to you all. I'm so happy to join to the Grand Squad. Well, I want to tell something about me. I'm a trans non-binary person using feminine pronouns. And I'm an agile coach and LGBT consultant and a former QA manager from the 3 borders of Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay. But now I'm based in Buenos Aires. I've been developing software for the last 15 years. I'm so happy to join to the Grant Squad and trying to support all the grantees and guarantee an efficient use of the community treasury. So anything that you need from me, please reach out. And you will see me soon at in the Testing Tuesday program that we had. But now we are going to tell a little bit about that. So, Testing Tuesday, this is a new program that we launched last Tuesday. The idea is to collaborate to improve projects. What we're thinking about is to help all the grantees to have a space to get early feedback, to exchange some ideas, and to get to know other grantees for future collaboration, but especially for assure the quality of the project founded by the DAO. So, The next slide, please. So we started on last Tuesday with tower defense, and was so great. We have some comments from our tester. They say like this is a great way to build connections and get together and play. Also, they give good feedback to tower defense to continue on some ideas for the future. And in the next testing Tuesday, we're going to have this amazing project that's an NFT shop and NPM package. So if anyone wants to join as a tester, feel free to contact us, any of the member of the squad, or fifi.real. That's my email, but I will send it. We will send a link here actually for anyone that wants to apply. So if this is a very good way to get some feedback from your projects. So we have a scheduled meeting until May. So if anyone wanted to make sure that you have a space of this amazing project, please reach out as soon as possible. So thank you, Pablo. I think I will pass to Sino. Sino, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Just one information. We have the open call for testers, like a form. So I've shared it in our chat. So fill it out, and join the initiative. It's very interesting and very well. I'm very enthusiastic on this one. So Zeno, go on with the revocation committee.
All right. Hello, community. Zeno here. Well, I want to tell you a little bit about the poll that is running now and at soon regarding the revocations committee. The next week, the idea is that we will go over this in depth in an open session to present the committee, and basically to try to answer the responsibility that they have, what will be the scope, how will be the procedure, etc. But again, that will be an open session next week. So the idea is today to see why we are here and why we need this revocations committee. Next slide, please, Pablo. Basically, we are now in the poll section. No, why we are here? Well, we want to have few ways to get through the blocker that the committee raised, that they basically try to vote for each candidate. So we will have two options to vote. One is meet the candidates. The idea is go through the procedure, voted, and resubmitted the selected candidates. But before they include an open session hosted by the facilitation squad to introduce them. Then we have another option that is meet and vote for the candidates. That the idea is, again, the facilitation squad will host an open session where the select 5 candidates and 2 substitutes can be introduced. And then the Grand Support Squad will submit one open poll per candidate following the DAO committee's procedure. Something that I want to mention is that we are here because we want to honor the process of votation and keep the legitimacy of the government process that we as the DAO have. Next slide, please, Pablo. Well, basically what happened, no? In September 2022, we went through a governance process to create this revocations committee because what's needed given an opportunity to the grantee to argue with an objective third party not involved in the revocations process. It was a really difficult governance process because at the beginning, next slide please, we asked the community about the best procedure to revoke a grant, but the poll was rejected. Then we asked the community again, how should make the decision to revoke a grant with their arguments and recommendation and assign the responsibility to decide a new committee. So basically the community decided that we, the Grand Support Squad, had to present each case with our own arguments and recommendations and assign this responsibility to a new committee. that this committee will be, again, as I mentioned, a third-party non-devolved process where the grantee could have another meeting with their own arguments, etc. Then we promote this poll into a draft governance proposal to create a structure and the guidance for this committee. This is now where we are. Because after the votation, the draft was promoted to a governance stage where the committee vote for the procedure of initial setup of this new committee. What was this procedure? First, there will be an open application period in the forum, like the committee has done in the past and is doing with the new committee members, with TOEIC, for example. Then the application will be submitted by the prospect and post in the forum, and the applicants should answer the question mentioned in the complete framework. So that is the first thing that we did. Then the Grant Support Squad interview the candidates and make the final selection of 5 members and choose substitutes. The idea was for creation of this committee and the renewal, but the final selection will be presented by the community in a poll. That is what happened 2 weeks ago, and that basically was the problem and the blocker that we have regarding that, because again, the community decided that we need to be at the same page as the procedure of the DAO committee has. So something that I want to mention and say again is that the idea to present this is that every time we hear the community, we get the feedback, and we start again, but this committee for us is much needed because we need somebody else, a third party, not involved in the process, for the grantee could have another meeting to have and discuss about the why the or not the grant should be revoked. So a funny fact that I want to mention is that we have a lot of rejected, basically. Now we have a lot of friction with this creation of this committee, but the last thing that sorry, I don't know who is talking about, but the committee vote to replace the name, for example, of this committee. At first time, the committee was named Accountability Committee, but the committee decided that this will be the best name for this committee. So now we have a new name that is Revocations Committee. The idea was to show what was all the stages that we passed with the governance process, why we are here, and again, we are hearing all the feedback of the community and try to honor the procedure of governance that we have here in our DAO, because that will give us a lot of legitimacy regarding this committee and how the committee are voting. Thank you all. I think that maybe Paulo or if you are there, you can share the link of the proposal that is ending soon, so everybody could vote on it or get the feedback. It will really appreciate to us. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll send the link later. Well, the grant.
Can I ask a question?
I think maybe
afterwards.
If you don't, I don't know, Matt. How?
Will you please let them finish the middle of their update?
Okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So let's go through the grant updates, and then at the end we can open the forum, as Matt said. So let's go to the update. We always have 3 slots, sometimes 4, to share the progress of the grantees. So today we have the Decentraland Edit update, the MENA community one, and also the update from Decentraland Studios. So maybe Zeno, you can share your screen now for the videos, and
okay.
Stop sharing mine.
With DCL.
Thank you. So, this edit is finishing the grant period, and they've released the version 2 of the platform. So let's see the update. I don't see, but are you watching the Steno's screen or not?
I have a problem here in my computer.
Okay.
Start again. I don't know if you can now see my screen.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, what's going on here?
Well, the objective of this
give me a second, please.
Yeah, don't worry. The objective of the second grant of the Decentraland Edit was to improve the platform, and as I said, they launched they released the version 2. So it's very interesting to see the update. I don't know if you use the Decentraland Edit, but yeah,
Here.
Now
Yes.
I can see. Go on.
A security problem, sorry.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm the lead developer for DCellEdit, and I'm going to give you a quick update on what we've done in the past few months and what is our current status of the project. So to give you a quick rundown, what is DCellEdit? DCellEdit is basically a scene editor which is designed to work in combination with the Decentraland SDK. Down here we have a asset browser, and this actually also contains all the builder assets. So whatever asset was available in the builder is now also available in DCellEdit. So let's say, for example, the pirates, I don't know, decorations. Let's put an anchor in here. We have different scenes now. So let's see, I have now created a new. Let's save it in here. Let's call it, I don't know, update scene. And now I've saved the scene. And let's see how we can use it in our code. So DCellEdit actually creates all the necessary SDK code for us that needs to be written for the scene. And it then exposes this code in the scene factory. So we just import the scene factory in here, and then we can type scene factory.create and then the name of our scene. So we've just saved our scene as update scene. So let's click this. It's a function, so this will generate the scene now. And here we go. We have now the scene open with the anchor in here. But let's say I don't want to have the anchor in here, but I don't know, maybe a bit more on this side. So let's just go and DCellEdit, grab the anchor, move it a bit over. Here, for example, hit Ctrl S to save, and the anchor is automatically updated. So as you can see, creating scenes with DCellEdit is just so much faster and simpler than using plain SDK code. Now let's try to code something with the anchor. So first step is to click on the anchor and hit the isExposed checkbox. Also make sure to hit S or save. The anchor available in the code. So next step, go into the code, and this function will actually give us a return value. So let's write it into a const scene, for example. Now we can access the scene.exposed property, and in there we can see our anchor. So let's hit the anchor. Yes, I'm just going to select the anchor, like the entity, because I want to add a new onPointerDown component. And on here, let's write a little function that just moves the component up a little bit. So whenever we click on the component, when we click on the anchor should just move a little bit up. So closing the brackets, hit save, and now in the preview window, we should be able to see the anchor. We can click on it, and whenever we click on it, it moves a bit up. Yeah, so this is our grant. This is already completely enacted, but we plan to request another grant in the near future, so in a few weeks. So yeah, in this grant we did a lot of the stuff you just saw. So basically having a complete refactoring of the editor, making it more user-friendly, also adding some automatic optimization in the models, and also making all the builder models and builder assets available in DCellEdit was one of the most requested features for this grant. We also plan on extending the editor further, so that's why we will be requesting another grant for that. We also want to have this editor to be a no-code editor, so at least having the option to not having to code at all. Instead, you should be able to build your scene and build whatever interaction you want using components and basically visual scripting. That was the update for DCellEdit. I hope you like what you'll see, and see you soon.
Well, next one is the MENA Community Grant. It's our second grantee of today. They are working on the onboarding of the Arabic community to Decentraland. So let's watch the video update of them. I don't know if you follow their their dedicated Discord channel, but you can see there also what they're doing. Whoops, Zeno, again, you have this tag, I think. Let me see if I can share the screen.
And we are responsible for Decentraland's MENA Community Outreach Plan. MENA, for further clarification, is Middle East and North Africa. So we develop a plan and we're executing it to reach out to more Arab users and MENA residents to teach them about Decentraland and the potential it offers and what it stands for. So this is our main grant page. You can find our monthly updates at the bottom of the page. And within each grant update, there's links that you can track our progress through. We've posted 3 monthly updates so far, the last of which has been in the last week, so everything is up to date. So let me walk you through our main accomplishments so far. Our favorite and proudest accomplishment is the Decentraland's Arabic booklet. It's a 36-page booklet in Arabic that helps with the onboarding process of new users interested in discovering Decentraland. So what does it contain? This is a table of contents. It includes a brief about our grant, what is the metaverse, what is a decentralized metaverse, the history of Decentraland, Decentraland's partnerships, a beginner's guide, and then most importantly, a list of 25 POIs or point of interest with a brief on each and every one. And then at last we have Decentraland festivals. So let's take a quick look. This is the history of Decentraland, basically some of the information that you would ideally find in the museum, in the Genesis Plaza. This is the history of Decentraland partnership starting at 2018 with a partnership with the South Korean government around a business accelerator. And then all the way down, this is a partnership with Samsung. This is a partnership with Atari in 2021. This is a partnership with Sotheby's in the same year, and so on. So here's a beginner's guide or walkthrough. It might not look thorough enough, but it has this QR code which will lead you to a video that has a complete walkthrough and utility of all the buttons and control that you might need in Decentraland in Arabic. And the points of interest of the POIs, as you can see, there's the title of the POI in Arabic. This is butterfly brow farming, and you have the coordinates in here, and then some brief about the place and a picture of it. This is Wonder Mine, Ice Poker, Soul Magic, and so on. So this is our first and most important deliverable, and people have been using it around on Discord by different communities. Then we have the educational videos. This is our YouTube playlist on the Metaverse and Decentraland. It has 10 videos so far, and the most popular video has 1,300 views on it. These are some of our latest videos. Not all of them are posted on social media yet. This one is on land work, how you can rent land in Decentraland. This one is on Decentraland DAO. This one is on the marketplace. This one is on wearables, and this one is on Discord communities. If we click on the wearables video, you can see that it has a hands-on tutorial on Blender on how to design wearables in Decentraland standards. And at the end of the video, you can demo these designs within the builder. Pretty cool. So after that, we have the Discord channel. We kicked off the Arabic Discord channel in Decentraland's main Discord server in December 30. Habibi in the house. And it's been busy ever since. We've been organizing weekly activities and competitions, like you can see. And example of that, like trivia competitions like this one, these are the questions. And people are contributing. These are the answers from one of the competitors, and people who win get a free wearable NFT. People have been donating wearables, and we've been using our own. This is like one of the winners showcasing his loot, of course. So, and lastly, we've been preparing for an art exhibition in next April. It will be a new installation of the traveling art exhibition OXYZ. OXYZ has debuted on New Art City in its first installation. Then it moved to Mozilla Festival in collaboration with Taksir, and now it's moving to Decentraland in its latest and third installation. As you can see here, next we have Mozilla and Decentraland. So that's it. That was our view of our work as Taksir Initiative in this plan. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks to the people from Taksir. I agree about that. We need that for all the communities in as many languages as we can. Dino, would you like me to try to share the screen for the next update?
Yes, please go ahead. I have security problems here, so.
All right, let's see if it runs okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so the third grant here, the last one at this town hall, is called the Decentraland Studios. I think you know the project, also known as the Verified Partners Registry. They're making a great effort to onboard new creators and studios. So let's see the update.
Hello, everyone. I am Francisco. I'm the designer for Decentraland Studios. And today I'm going to be taking a look at our platform. I'm going to show you our platform and talk a bit about what we do. So basically, our project is supported by the DAO, and our initiative seeks to facilitate connections between brands and creators and generate new business opportunities for them. What this means is that if there's a brand or a company that wants to build something in Decentraland, we want to help them find the best studio or the best Decentraland creator to help them with their needs and to do business together. And the way we do this is through our platform, which is studios.decentraland.org, which I'm going to show you now. So this is it. Like, this is the homepage for our project. Here in the Studios tab, we see a list of the studios that have applied to join this registry and have been approved. And to do that, we verify that they are able to provide the services that they say they can provide. Right now, we have around a list of 128 studios, and with this sidebar on the left, a user, let's say a company, could filter the studios based on the services they need. So for example, let's say I need someone that does wearable design and is based on Europe. I have 35 results that match my criteria. So here I can narrow down the results I get. And based on this, I can pick whomever I think it's most appropriate. The user can also filter by team size and payment methods. So for example, let's say I want to work with Polygonal Mind. I can click on their profile and click on their card and see their profile. I can access their social media and see all the other services that they provide. Read a little bit about them and have some more information about where they are and the type of studio they are. Here below, we can see a list of the projects that they have done and some client reviews that they get from previous projects. And let's say, for example, I want to see this project they did with Mountain Dew. This is the page for the project where the studio can upload like a gallery of images to showcase what they did and write a little bit about the project. And here below, on external link, of course, they can add any links they want. They can add an external link to show this on Decentraland. I'm not going to click this now because this will open Decentraland and I don't have a lot of time to try it. So yes, this will be like the project page. This is the core of our project. This is where we started. And lately, we have added the projects tab in which we show a chronological feed of projects that have been done in Decentraland, meaning that whenever any studio uploads a new project, it will show here at the top. And by clicking on any, for example, this one, I can go to the project detail directly and see what they did, and then go back to the feed. And lastly, we have the resources tab, which is something new as well, where we show a list of examples of resources that are easy to implement and ready to implement in Decentraland. So for example, this Tinkan Ali, which is again mechanic, any user could click here on try it now, which will open the scene on Decentraland for them to try it, or they can also see the code on GitHub. And we think this is important for brands and companies, because by looking at this, they might have a better idea or a clearer picture of the types of projects they can do in Decentraland, and have a sense of how easy it can be to deploy something in Decentraland for their brand. So yes, we are looking to improve this by classifying the types of resources and so on, which we are going to be working on in the following weeks. So yes, this is basically our platform in around 5 minutes. I have a few extra seconds, so I'm going to talk about some KPIs. In our last grant, our first grant, which is the previous one that just finished, we were able to list 200 studios. We have around 500 published projects that were made of 2,000 images. And right now we have around 300 unique weekly visitors. And in the following weeks, in the new grant proposal that we have open, we are looking to push these metrics forward, particularly to generate more traffic for the website, and in order to make Decentraland Studios more visible to brands that want to build something in Decentraland. So this is it on my end. If you have any questions about this, we will take them now. Thank you.
Well, thanks to the people from the Decentraland Studios. And last but not least, regarding the technical Ask Me Anything sessions agenda, next week, as Yemel said, we have this special session about words, and then on March 22nd, we have the platform Catalyst and Decentralized Services one. And the final reminder, if you're a grantee and you want to share your progress in a town hall, you can book a slot for the next town halls in this link in Calendly that I'm sharing right now. So thank you very much from our side. Matt.
Can I ask a question before we continue?
We're just about to, yes, I'm just about to open it up to the open forum questions. So thank you, Grant Support Squad, for those updates and for sharing the developments and process for the revocations committee. We're going to move towards the open forum now, where we can get these pressing questions out there. Please just note we muted a few people due to mics being open throughout. I'm going to unmute these people now, but so if you're muted, you can mute yourself again once we unmute you. And if you're muted for some reason and can't talk, please just send a message in the town hall chat. So at this time, I'm going to start to open it up for questions.
I have a question for the DCL Studios. So yeah, I'm a developer and I do a lot of freelance, but I've worked for like several different studios. I've worked for, Last Slice, Parcel Parties, Banquet, all of them, of quite a few. So do you think it's prudent for me to have my own developer page, or is it like more focused on studios at this time?
There is a category for individuals, so for sure you can have a profile page for yourself.
I guess I'm more asking if you think it's repetitive, or if it's worth it to have a separate page.
I guess if you are looking to get some job opportunities or you want to showcase your portfolios somewhere, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. Just had a quick question for the Grant Support Squad. I was hoping they can please share the questions that they asked each candidate during their interviews for the revocation committee. I think it'll be really informative for the community to know the questions that were asked during the interviews. Thank you.
Sure, I can help you with that. Most of the questions were regarding professional background, about adhering to the code of ethics of Decentraland, about past contributions made to the community. And then those were like the general ones. And then we also had very specific questions based on the background of each of the candidates that were interviewed.
Would you mind sharing specifically, because I wasn't asked any of those questions, so thank you.
Sorry, in my case, I did not interview you, but I think Sino was the one.
Yep, I interviewed you to the moon. Regarding your person and your background, you told me, basically, you opened the mic and you told me everything that I need to know. Also, you answered the question that was a public question in the open forum. So I don't know if that answered your question, but basically, we don't have any doubts regarding your background. That's it.
Is there a way to, if you guys can publicize your notes on each of the candidates, and so that way the community can make a informed decision on what you've determined? Because I feel like it's kind of like behind closed doors, and it's not really fair for the community to decide without seeing the interview, how
Yes.
the interviews went and stuff like that. So
I could answer that now. Like in this particular process, what we did is we took notes for each of the interviews, then we shared it together like on a call, and then we defined our like the best fits. Depending on the backgrounds plus the interviews plus what we discussed later. This process was like this, designed to move forward with this procedure. If we would like to have open notes of each of the interviews because they are different, then this would be like, we should take one step backwards to have like a criteria on how to take notes for them to be public, which we did not know. Which we did not do. But what we can do is continue to the procedure as it is now based on the poll that it's open. If that poll does not pass, then we could review the previous steps. So we can, like, if it's the will of the community to be able to take these notes for them to be public and to make like a process and a criteria to do so, we could take this process back one step and do it as that.
Yeah, thank you. And one more question, well, at least as of right now. The other question I had was, what criteria did you guys have in mind when you were coming into it? Like, so obviously you had these questions prepared, as you said. What was your criteria? Because I don't think it was very well known to the community, and I think it's very important that the criteria that you are, that you were finding for the best fit. I would like to know what the best fit was for you. What criteria was the best fit? Thank you.
Yes. So for this specific committee, what we were looking for were for people that were contributors to Decentraland, that had a professional background that is diverse among the peers, and that they would be willing to debate and discuss putting the grantee first in terms of if we have to make a revocation or not. So basically, as we were doing it now, for each of the cases that are opened for revocations, we do need, for example, to argument if a grantee is going to be revoked, clearly why, to have clear arguments on why this is a revocation. One thing could be, for example, if they are not responding, or if they are not posting updates, or if they, along the way, we have learned things that are quote unquote, good practices or not good practices, like, for example, not updating. So the idea of this committee and the criteria that we had is, of course, professional background, contributions to the community, addition to the codes of ethics, but also to think about how that they were people that could collaborate among each other. So when we would bring the case, they could make the questions needed for us to, if they would recommend a revocation, that it's on the best on the behalf of the DAO.
Thank you. And so with those very generic point of views that you're mentioning, did you think that there was more candidates possible that could handle this position?
Oh, yes, definitely. We would have loved for more people to apply. The ones that we have selected, they were the best fit in terms of what I just discussed. But also there wasn't a lot of people applying. I would have loved to have more discussions regarding to have, for example, different more diverse profiles in terms of who is part of the committee. But well, it was what we have now. And good thing about this committee is that we are also going to open applications in the future. So in any way that this process can be enhanced, we are, as we have in the past few steps of this governance proposal, willing to take all the comments of the community and move forward with a very listening ear for the changes.
Thank you both. I just want to open it up momentarily as we're drawing towards the end of the session for additional questions. Make sure we have some background.
Hi, how you doing, Madam O? This is Chris from Metatrackers. I have some questions. Is that okay?
Yes, please, Chris.
Okay, the first thing is, so last week, I think when the GSS, when they created this poll, they didn't, reach out to the community, and, I voiced my opinion and other members of the community did. And then I think Yamil, he helped, voice his opinion. He corrected it. So, the first thing I want to say is thank you to Yamil, because I think you saw that the community wasn't happy with the way it was being conducted. And then you kind of made a reverse and you allowed, I guess you spoke to the GSS and, had them, try a different approach. And that's the approach we're going now. I think the community is a lot more happier with this approach. So that's the first one. I just, sometimes we do complain. We act out of frustration. I know I was frustrated last week, but I just want to, commend you guys for trying to make that the reverse. So that's number one. Number two, I came with, I'm not sure if I heard everything, but for these 5 candidates, I heard that you guys are going to do a poll individually. How about the substitutes? Are you guys going to do a poll for the substitutes as well, or just the 5 candidates? If you said it earlier, I apologize. Maybe I didn't hear clearly.
That's great, Chris. Thank you. Sorry, Zeno, would you like to?
Yes, we will do
okay.
One poll per candidate and the poll for the substitutes too.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's the second question. And my last question I'd like to ask, because I know the GSS, you guys said it on the last week call, so I just want to ask for clarification again. I know you guys mentioned that the budget is every quarter, and I think you guys said for the next budget for the grants, it's renewed in April. Is that correct? So is it like January, February, March, the first quarter, then April, May, June, the second quarter? Is that how it works?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Okay. Are there any other pressing questions before we draw to a close today?
I just had one more thing. I just because I slipped in my mind a little bit. I just want to ask if no one else has a question. So just to refresh my memory of what you said, Yarosita. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's okay. Don't worry.
No, yeah. You said that there was no like formalized interview because not every question was asked to every. Some people answered anyways, but there wasn't a formalized process for these interviews. Was that correct?
We did have questions that were same for all of them, and then we had individual questions based on the professional experience. Again, based on contributions to the community, for example, general questions about professional background, general questions about why they would be interested in forming part of this committee were the ones that were made for all of them, and then based on those answers, we would have extra time for specific questions and then extra time for questions from the candidates to our support squad regarding the process.
Okay, thank you all for joining us today in this town hall, and we will be having also a separate session to discuss the candidates for the revocations committee, where we can bring up additional comments and feedback about the process in general. In the interim period, I hope everyone has a wonderful week. If you are recovering from a virus, I hope you feel better quickly, and look forward to seeing everyone in World, in the forums, and in the Discord. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.